Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, family, to LWF Training, which is short for Lone Wolf Firearms Training. I am your host, Juan J. Johnson, on this October 31st, the last day in October. This will be considered Halloween to many, but it's Halloween to me and to others. So with that said, looking forward to an amazing broadcast on this evening. We'll be talking about God, guns, and gun safety and current events with Let's Talk 2. Let's Talk 2. Again, you know the drill. If you want firearms instructions, you need your HQL, which is a handgun qualification license, which allows you to purchase a gun. If you need your wear and carry or your concealed carry, go to lwftraining.com. If you want intro to firearms, basic 1, 2, and 3, go to intro, go to lwftraining.com. Also, if you no longer want your guns, if you no longer have need of your gun, you're tired of it, or you inherited some guns and you don't want them, you want no parts of them. Okay, give us a call. We'll come to your location, transfer those guns from your location to the company for educational purposes. Again, we can't have enough guns. As a matter of fact, we can't have enough. And the more guns that we have to train with, the more guns you have to shoot with. So with that said, go to lwftraining.com. Also, if you need your renews, your wear and carries, your concealed carries, or your HQLs, again, go to lwftraining.com. Leave me a message, a note. We will call you and work out that schedule to get you back up certified. Okay. So again, let's move on. I'm looking forward to this broadcast tonight. I really am. A brother who we have a mutual friend in Randy Short who linked this all up together. And when Dr. Short put you out there, Dr. Short put you out there with some good folks, okay? Some good folks. Maybe you're on the fringe, okay? But they're still good, okay? I'm on the fringe. Look here. No matter what I do, no matter how I look, trust me, my views are not like everybody else's views. But I look forward to having this conversation with this brother Q, brother Quentin. Let's Talk 2. Kind of remind me of my old channel. I had a Real Talk channel. He got a Let's Talk channel. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. As a matter of fact, let me present to some and introduce to others. Let's bring them up right on that. Let's just bring them up right in and get straight to the topic. Brother Q from Let's Talk 2 is in the
house. What's going on, bro? How's everything going?
Brother, I am doing good. I have no complaints. I'm just right now trying to get all these social media platforms on the same page, because these folks have a way of limiting your reach. They put you on privacy, put you on friends when you should be open to the public. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to make
sure. It's an interesting thing, and I'm quite sure with you having a page and being focusing on firearm safety, they always kind of probably got a different set of eyes on you.
Oh,
because your subject matter is such a political issue, unfortunately.
Yeah. I hear this. They're not used to folks like myself, Black, intelligent, articulate, have a passion for those people, retired, law enforcement, also now firearm instructor, teaching them what I know. That right there is like, whoa, we need to watch this one. I don't mind being watched because I've been watched all my life, but I understand some things I can do, and there's some things I can't do because, you don't necessarily see your military personnel out there talking. Normally you don't see practically none of your military personnel out there talking. Those who are active, you see retired folks talking. But if you're active duty, you're neutral.
And you kind of know at any given moment, a decision could be made where you're physically active.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So me knowing that although I am retired, but yet I'm still a firecracker. I still, I still, I still want what's best for the people, man. You know, like I said, I'm. Look here, I can't hide this. I'm reminded every day that you black.
Yeah. You
I
know,
leave this.
and
Go ahead.
that's one of the things, Juan, that when Dr. Short told me about you, I thought it was we would be able to have a really interesting conversation because I grew up in a state that's super liberal, and they
I grew up in a
you know
state
that
that's
that northeastern part of the country has some of the strictest gun laws in the country.
they do.
So you grow up with this not really understanding your Second Amendment and not having a full grasp of arming yourself, for protection of your home. That's your, we would say, God given right that has
Mm-hmm,
been instituted in the Constitution, even though we could say that the Constitution wasn't for us, but it's applicable for us today.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I wasn't one of those people that really was into advocating for the Second Amendment until I moved. Once I moved and got to open carry state, which is more urban, you start understanding the need to arm yourself.
Right.
And it's not more of a crime issue. It literally is a protection issue. And I know it may seem strange to most people, but I go certain areas where I work at, and it's some very interesting things in the woods and mountains.
Mm,
Some things, some things that may not even be on record. I've seen some, mountain lions, and people be like, "There ain't no mountain lions in Pennsylvania." I'll be like, "Okay, there's some things in them woods that aren't, like I said, usual for a person that may grow up in a big city.
mm-hmm.
You're used to just make a casual deer. A deer would be shocking people, but you got all types of things in those woods. So, you know, in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia has very strict gun laws, but the outskirts don't.
Right. Which they
So
shouldn't.
it changed my view on weapons and understanding, that we all should have that right to bear arms
Right.
and understanding what's going on politically, why a particular party wants us an assault on the assault weapons because they use crime, they use certain events that happen as a way of saying no, 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 you can't. And that's not the issue because
Mm-hmm.
most people that commit certain crimes, those guns are legal, and then you
Right.
got some other people like you were in law enforcement that commit certain crimes. Those guns are illegal, so it's not a legal or illegal issue when it comes to the weapons. It's a matter of fact that sometimes they get in the hands of people who don't know how to use them, understand gun safety, and then those who want to commit crime. So I don't think that guns should be the focus. Definitely for if a person is looking at why is crime being committed.
Mm.
So
You make some very interesting points, and you're
and
right.
then historically, look at us as black people, FBA,
Mm-hmm.
B1.
Mm-hmm.
Even after slavery, you remember your grandfather had that shotgun in the house.
Mm-hmm.
He at least had a shotgun. He might have had a handgun too. So we were used to the protecting and providing the home, having a shotgun. My grandfather passed away a couple years ago,
Peace
and
be
he
upon
had,
him.
huh?
God's peace be upon him.
Yeah, thank you. And before he kind of went into the nursing home, he told us where his guns was at, so we got rid of them. He had 3, 4 shotguns because he was a hunter. As some guys from the South Bay, so we had to get rid of his weapons. So because he couldn't take them to Florida, he was going to a home. So I think that everybody should arm themselves. Everybody should have a shotgun. Everybody should have a handgun. You should be able to protect your home. You should be able to protect your family.
So how long have you been in this space, this mindset?
Probably the last 8 years. I think if a person doesn't have a gun in their home, they're a fool.
Oh Lord, yes, yes, yes. So how much resistance do you get from you get more let me get it right. Do you get more resistance from males or from females?
Believe it or not, I get more resistance from males.
We're on the same
Um,
page.
males for some reason, until something happens to them, in my opinion, are not very proactive. They're very reactive type of people. Instead of understanding, like, look, you got a gun, I got a shotgun in my house. What's wrong with that?
Hmm,
You
hmm.
know, females, once some females will be like, I don't want no guns around me. But if they allow guns around them, they become real like big gun advocates, um, understanding gun safety. And I think that's the biggest issue that you may get the pushback from with weapons is most people are so scared of what could happen wrong instead of, but what could happen right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know when I first moved to Pennsylvania, right?
Hmm,
When I seen people open carrying, it was a shock to me
hmm, hmm.
because I come from an element where, for lack of better words, I knew people told it, and you could kind of see if somebody got it on them, or you in certain areas, so you know if somebody packing. But when I was driving one day, drove past these two dudes. They was coming out with rifles, coming out the woods, open. One had a shotgun, rifles. Then I used to work with some dudes. They used to go in the woods and hunt, and they had, old army guys. So they would come in with their weapons, clean them. So it wasn't more of a fear factor. It was more of a, okay, this is the law of the land around here.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Yes, it is.
assume the assumption, and as they say, when in Rome, do as Romans do.
I'm trying to figure out when was the disconnect. When in your research, in your coming to your knowledge of the whole gun piece and become a responsible gun owner, gun user, when did when do you in your research when do you realize that when did we stop telling our people pass that down?
I think that and I didn't do much in depth research about it, but I think that we have to be honest about a couple things. We have to be honest about the civil rights movement
Okay.
and blacks moving up north. And we have to be honest about a lot of blacks came up north, ran from the south, allegedly for opportunity up north, but for lack of better words, they ran up north to be soft. They forgot who they was. They were down there. Your racism was right in your face. My grandfather grew up Georgia, the swamps area,
Hmm,
and he
hmm.
basically he didn't tell me everything about when he was a kid, but he basically told me like, look, I did some stuff down there where
Mm.
you know I left to go to Chicago. Now he
Right.
would go back, and he had a real strong family down there, big huge family, but they knew not to come looking for him, as he would say. And I think that that happened to a lot of the black men down there, the uncles, and they left. But I think a lot of people left, as they say, for greener pastures,
Hmm,
and they
hmm.
got soft. They didn't bring their guns with them. They don't even hunt. You ask the average person nowadays, how do you hunt? Even if you don't eat coon and all this other stuff, how do you hunt?
Mm.
How do you fish? You look at nowadays, the average person may not even know how to go freshwater fishing.
All
You know
right.
what I mean? Might not even know how to clean a fish. Don't even know how to survive if they were in the woods. Let's just look at the guy who did these shootings. Where I was in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
the guy who killed that trooper a couple years ago,
Okay.
he was in the woods
Yeah.
for a couple months. And I know the area where he was at, and I could understand why he survived. It was fresh creeks back there, and he figured it out. And I think that that hurt us. And then going even to civil rights, most people don't understand how the deacons of defense got their guns. So
Speaking.
they don't understand the relationship that the NRA had with blacks. And a lot of the blacks nowadays, we be advocating against the NRA. And it really makes no sense historically when you think about it, because of what the relationship that the NRA had with those deacons and having the deacons of defense and the relationship with those southern churches, and people were putting in work and they weren't doing all the talking that we do and marching. You had people that were really, they weren't, for lack of better words, like Dr. King. They were rebels.
Yes.
And even Dr. King, they give us the palatable version of what they want to of him instead of who he really was.
Right.
And I think that's one of the major problems with us. And we go to cities, and next thing you know, well, I don't want guns now. Meanwhile, you're getting slaughtered. So it's like, we love to say we're FBA, we B1, all these race. We love to say that all the cops are race soldiers, and I understand the premise.
Wow.
However, when you put yourself in situations, you have already disarmed yourself. Not saying can't nothing happen to you if you arm yourself. Okay. But why would you disarm yourself if you're saying that you are in a state of war? Why would you disarm yourself?
Do you know the answer?
I do know the answer.
What's the answer?
Because we're weak. We're weak. And I'm not as fiery as our mutual friend.
Yes.
With a lot of stuff. But a lot of us want to be in white spaces. A lot of us want to. I'm not advocating anybody be racist, but a lot of us we just talk. I have a lot of friends, people I deal with in business from the other race. They would never disarm themselves.
Right.
I grew up in northern New Jersey, where straight up, if you was Neapolitan, it was on against them Sicilians. They ain't like y'all.
Still don't.
Yeah, and I know the difference between those families, and it was on. If they saw each other, everybody hears about Jersey Shore, but if they saw each other down Jersey Shore and they was from a different family, it was on. So we and even Italians understand. They understand about the Black Hand. They know the history of being in this country and understanding that some of us have assimilated to being white, right, and accept this whiteness, but we understand that at one point in this country, they were who they were. They were not considered white. And I think that we have really gotten to a point where we do a lot of talking, we do a lot of BSing, instead of saying, you know what? I could be an internet gangster. I could talk all this shit on the internet.
Yeah.
But I can't even protect my home.
Brother, you preaching now. Look, we're going to take up an offering on this one. You preaching. You preaching now.
No.
You preaching.
You can't even protect your home. And I will tell you, legally, I can't carry.
Okay.
Legally. I'm not advocating anybody break the law or the laws that's put in place in their particular area.
Right.
But I'm going to advocate that if anybody can legally carry, go down to the county office and get you a gun permit and get you at least, most people won't tell you, get you a handgun, get you a rifle, and get you a semi-automatic. Got to. Those are essential. And if there's any women that's in the broadcast, if your man don't have that, you need to have it. Or if he can't have a gun for a particular reason, You should have it. It should be in your home, even if it's in a lockbox where he can't quote unquote get to. Uh, do what you got to do.
Before you say anything else, let me let the folks know we are on the line. We are on all these platforms, his and mine. You're talking, listen to Brother Q, Brother Quentin from Let's Talk 2. And look here, I am in 1000% agreement with everything he just said. 1000%. You've heard me say this before. And sometimes you got to bring folks on your platform that you haven't coached. We haven't really had this discussion, okay? We just said, you know what? It's going to be a generic conversation. Just let it flow. I mean, we're literally letting this thing flow. We did not, I have not, what's that word? Well, I haven't coached him. He coached me, but he has literally said everything that I have been saying and then some. So again, I salute you, Brother Quentin. I need you guys to go to YouTube and go to Let's Talk 2. Let's Talk 2. Just type in Let's Talk 2. Let's Talk 2. That's the show. And you will see a platform. You see the videos, the folks he's interviewed, some amazing guests, good brother. And yes, we are talking about guns. We are talking about arming each other. And again, because I've been saying that it seems like, from my perspective, that the self-preservation switch in our community has been deactivated, and we need to reactivate it. And as a person who's done law enforcement for almost 3 decades, one of the things I did before I left, and even now, is I became a firearm instructor because I saw that we're not protected. We're not protected. We're not even protecting ourselves. And some of my greatest pushback has been from Black males, especially Black preachers.
Because that's another thing. One is that historically, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have our great historians who are out here teaching us, educating us, giving us the history. A lot of the stuff is in book form, a lot of the stuff is in video form. So a
Mm-hmm.
person to see a video, let's just use Malcolm, for example.
Okay.
A lot of Malcolm's videos inspire people, and people like to use his videos where he says certain things about the liberal and the conservative. But it goes in one ear and right out the other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it really don't hit home. So if you're using our, let's just say our former leaders who have no longer here, if you're
Mm-hmm.
using them and you want to use what the information and really say, I'm looking at our ancestors and really embellishing how they dealt with what they dealt with and really carrying it on. They took care of themselves. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, Ronald Reagan, he changed the laws when he saw Huey Newton and them with the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
That's may be true. It may be factual, however way you look at it. But what does that have to do with it? Did anybody, and you know this, did anybody fight it federally?
Mm.
Because sometimes those state laws can be superseded by federal laws.
Fed laws trump them state laws
Yeah.
sometimes.
So let's just say at those times when if all that was true, and I don't know what side a person may be on if it was true, where was the money for those attorneys to fight this?
Mm.
On why we still should be arming ourselves. Um, we advocate and say we doing this for the people and doing this for the people, but we don't have no. Where's the Black lawyers at? And I'm not saying Ben Crump is not good because Ben Crump, if you understand what his purpose is for,
Right.
you'll understand. And I know a lot of people don't like him. I don't know. I know enough about the law to know that he has a purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a civil lawyer. He's there to get you the bag.
Right.
He's not there to push laws for change. He's there to get you the bag, and he gets people the bag, but most of the time it's after the fact.
Right.
So
Yes.
are we advocating For example, and I'll just use this for a short example, right? Do you know who Bruce Cutler was?
That name sounds familiar. Hold up, Bruce Cutler, Bruce Cutler, Bruce Cutler. Keep going. No, but that's the
Italian
name.
Mafia.
Okay.
Okay, Bruce Cutler was John Gotti's lawyer.
Okay.
That was his only client.
Mm. Didn't need anybody else.
They sent his ass to school to study law so he could be the lawyer for his friend. Why we don't do that? We know we talk about all this HBCU stuff and say we're doing this. Why we don't sponsor our young people? Go to school, go to school to be a lawyer. You're gonna be a lawyer. You're gonna be a dentist. You're gonna be a doctor. You know, we really when you look at it, we're in a worse situation now than we was during segregation.
Yes, we are.
We're getting slaughtered. And it's our fault. It's our fault.
Do you blame a generation? Do you put it on the millennials? Do you put it on the Xers? Do you put it on the baby boomers, the silent generation? Because there's been a group of people who's been calling the shots for a minute for the last 50, 60 years. And it ain't been no.
I think the boomers, I think a lot of us don't want to admit it. Like some of our old family members in the boomers were sellouts. We may not want to admit that some of your uncle might have been a sellout. He might have sold the people out. Like, we got to understand that Dr. King could not go to every church. Some people may be in a church. And I'm not attacking anybody's faith. I'm just going to say if you're a member of a church, your church is a big church in the town. Your church historically might have been one of those churches that didn't want Dr. King there.
Mm-hmm.
But now we'll say he's their hero. So how would, sometimes you have to out people that they've been in positions 30, 40 years and they've done nothing to help Black people and what we've been going through in this country. They do nothing. They're just sitting there. They're just a figurehead. And we need to put that in perspective. As they say, we're in a generation now where people got receipts. We need to start pulling those receipts out on people that have been literally in the way. Literally in the way. But what we do is I'll see you do something that I may not like, Juan. And I'll get mad at you. So I'll take my whole YouTube channel and attack you. Or you attack me. And we go back and forth. And we think that's drama. But in the long run, you do something I may not understand. I could always pick up the phone and be like, Juan, what happened? Like, or maybe I misunderstood you, or maybe you were misunderstood. Maybe it was taken out of context. Because nowadays, most of the time, and we know how clips go with doing shows and going viral, you may take something that somebody says so far out of context and how it's used, and now you then had a whole platform attacking somebody that was really advocating and a person that loved being B1 and loved being FBA, and now you done destroyed them. Because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that. It's easy. The hard work is saying, I don't know if I agree with Juan's approach, but maybe let me take a look at how he's going about it. Like, for example, and I don't agree with everything Michael Eric Dyson says.
That's two of us.
I don't like that. I don't like his political stances. I don't like a lot of stuff he said. But he said something. He said something one day, and I hope it wasn't an attack personally on Malcolm. But he said something I heard him say before to the premise of when Malcolm would criticize Dr. King. Malcolm was in New York. Dr. King was down in the South getting his ass whooped. You know what I mean? Getting hold on him. So if I'm not in the region, you know the politics of the inner workings of DC. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know anything about that. So for me, we have our mutual friend. If I see something going on in DC, Short, what's going on? Dr. Short, what's the problem? Mom, what's going on? Because the way I grew up moving in North Jersey,
Right.
it's a different politics up there. So I can't take that mentality and then place my mentality of how I used to move in North Jersey and put it in DC.
Absolutely.
It's a different set of inner politics that goes on that I may not know about.
And that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Because watch this. Even in DC, as a police, it's 4 quadrants. Southwest is not Northwest. Northwest is not Southwest. Northwest is not Northeast. Northeast ain't Northwest. Southeast ain't Northeast. It's a whole different atmosphere. It's a whole different neighborhoods, a whole different, I would say, even culture. So you
Yeah.
can't bring a Northeast mindset to a Northwest. I'm talking about uptown where all the money is, the flowing. And then you can't go downtown with a Northeast, Southeast mindset because you're going to be, number one, you're going to be out of pocket. You're out of pocket, number one. Number two, you're gonna be a thumb. You're gonna stand out like he don't know the etiquette here. Or she don't know the etiquette here. So you're much right. Yeah, I try
And,
to
and
learn.
it's funny because I actually told somebody that today that I was telling them I was from Jersey, and they mentioned below Trent, and I said, no disrespect, we don't consider that Jersey.
It's too close to New York.
Yeah, it's that because it's more of the attraction to the bigger city. So I would consider that they got like a Philly flavor down that way.
Like
And North
Brunswick.
Jersey is more like a New York flavor, but it's Jersey, but it's a New York flavor.
So what about Brunswick?
Brunswick is Middlesex County. That's north.
Okay. Okay.
They pass. They right there. They right there though. They right there.
That's the finish line.
Look, you go over the Perth Amboy Bridge. It's a whole different thing down there. But yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest issues when we talk about the pushback in the Black community when it comes to firearms and understanding our relationship with firearms. It's not always negative. It's not always the cop shot an unarmed suspect.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's understand, like, even now, like, not trying to be funny. Are we really proud who Bass Reeves was? Like, if you know who Bass Reeves was, and you know what I mean, should we be proud of who he was, or shouldn't we? Like, it's like we're scared of weapons all of a sudden. Like,
Give the people a small synopsis of Bass Reeves, the ones who are not familiar with the name, because this video gonna be for posterity. Folks,
I'll just say that he was the law.
Yes.
He was the lawman. He was the one. He was the one. Most historians say that the Lone Ranger was loosely based off of him.
That's right.
So much so that he even arrested family members. And he did what he had to do, but he was the law. And it's very, and I'm not a historian, you guys, so
Okay.
I'm just giving loosely based, but if you understand who he was and his relationship with upholding the law, you'll know that it's not foreign for Blacks to arm themselves.
It's not foreign. What is foreign for them not to arm themselves? And that has been one of my biggest challenges is where it is. I think I'm at a place right now where I'm trying to reintroduce to the collective. I'm not assuming they know no more because I've been in law enforcement for too long, and I've seen that the ones with the guns are like the criminal element per se. Okay, in certain communities, and so, and then within our community, which is that Black American community, that foundational, colored, Negro, African American, whoever you answer to, um, they've consciously decided not to defend themselves. And it will make you feel bad if you talk about defending yourself. They literally depend on law enforcement and believe that it's enough law enforcement to help them out. I'm smart enough to know it's only maybe 1 million police officers nationwide, from Maine to California. I'm gonna say 1 million total. If you get every department and you count the numbers. And so if you look at the big cities, like the New Yorks, the Chicagos, the LAs, the Houstons, that's where you see the big metropolises. Okay. New York may have 150, maybe have 150,000. Okay, total. Your LA 75,000. Your Chicago's maybe 90,000. This is just throwing out some random numbers. That ain't even 1 million.
Well, the
DC,
thing is,
4,000.
I think the big city people are more confused than anybody.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
how accurate that map is, but they have a map where it shows where the majority of Black people are, and they're not in the big cities. So I think that a lot of us that grew up in big cities start to think that we outnumber the dominant society in those cities, and it's not true.
Right.
So they get to the point where they don't want to arm themselves. And look at it. Look if you just, you guys in the chat, if you just take your time and you look at the states that have the strictest gun laws in this country. Why?
Mhm.
Why those states?
Because
You know
they're
what I mean?
black.
And then I lost my thought for a second. And then
With the highest concentration of black folks.
well, you know this. Okay, I remember what I was gonna say. You guys in the chat now, like the brother said, Juan said, we didn't do no um, side conversation before we decided to do the show. But I know this, and Juan will tell you this, and he probably knows better than me because this is the field that he's in. Juan, let everybody know during the pandemic why people couldn't find bullets.
It's a couple of reasons, because number one, the price was up. The price was up for bullets. It was crazy. Um, that's one of the main reasons. And then there was a shortage. Okay, so you had the price up, shortage. Um, yeah, yeah, because I look at how many who are the people who had the training, how much them boxes was costing, man.
Yeah. The
And then
Rangers didn't have no bullets. They was
the bullets. It was a
gun,
shortage.
guns. One thing that was sold out quick was guns,
Yeah.
bullets, and bicycles because people was trying to get in the street, right? But I brought it up because it shows that people seeing what was going on and didn't know the direction that the country was going
Mm-hmm,
in.
mm-hmm,
And living in a very urban area, you intermingle with different people from different backgrounds, and
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
start to understand. And you guys in the chat, I'm never going to tell you guys what to believe in politically, but I'm a registered independent in Pennsylvania.
I know.
Pennsylvania is one of those states that allow you to register Democrat, Republic, or independent. Some states don't allow you to register independent. So,
Right.
and even the Democrats and the Republicans actually banded together to do some stuff in Pennsylvania to try to get the independents off the ballot. But I say that to say this though. So most of us during that time of the pandemic and knowing what was going on and seeing things, you start to understand and hear what we would perceive as cold-blooded Americans and how they felt about their country. And you start to understand, if you're not so liberal in your views, you start to understand why they feel the way they feel and their rights are being infringed upon. The Second Amendment, the First Amendment, what we all went through. And I'm not even going to bring up the words during the show. Like, we literally, our rights are being attacked. And if we're in censorship and Juan and myself being able to be on the show, and you got to be careful with certain words you use because the video will be flagged.
That's
You'll
right.
be flagged, to be censored. So with that, and the reason why I bring it back all the way back to guns is, why disarm yourself? Why be a part of your own quote unquote demise? I mean, most of us, if you don't live, like I live in an urban area, it'd take an officer 15 minutes to get to my house
Or longer,
or longer.
depending on the traffic.
Mm-hmm. If something happens.
I tell folks, county police have a longer road to travel than city police. And you may have a higher concentration in the city
They call
because,
it air miles.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Air miles.
And that's why you don't have as many county as city, because the city, you're right on top of each other in the big cities. Now, when you have those municipals, like Andy Griffin types, those small little cities, good luck. Good luck trying to get somebody to come to your
Mm-hmm.
house. And they work with the county to cover some of these calls
Yeah.
for service.
And then you'll be in an area like, say for example, if you're in a real rural area and you out in the woods shooting, you might get the cop or the state trooper to come by. He'll just look at you and be like, everything all right? Yeah, I'm just out here shooting, cleaning my gun and stuff. All right, be safe. And they're going to let you go about your business. And they do that because, over a period of time, they know who you are.
Right.
They know. One of the biggest things, and I want to talk to you about, Juan, and I'm glad you have me on your show, is we have to stop attaching guns to crime.
Yes. Yes.
People commit crime with guns, but that does not mean that if you have a gun, you're committing a crime.
Facts.
Guns have nothing to do with crime.
Mm.
Now, you could commit a crime with a gun. You could commit a crime with a hammer. A hammer's not illegal. A bat's not illegal. But if you commit a crime with it, that's a weapon, and it we consider it just as dangerous as a gun. So we need to, as FBA, as B1, and people that want to navigate in this land and say we're at war and use all this stuff, well, act like it. I'm not saying harm anybody, but at least arm yourself. At least be able to protect yourself. At least be in decent enough shape to get out of a situation if you have to get out of a situation and you don't have a weapon, or get out of a situation and be able to handle yourself with protection. And that's where you come in handy. And I'm quite sure all of the brothers and sisters that's in the field that you're in are like the black farmers. It's like a lost art. Some people don't know how to farm. Some people don't know how to hold a weapon. Some people don't know how to clean their gun.
Yeah. But you hitting on so many different things. The more you say, the more I see. And I want to deal with this one thing, that we have become the authority on everything but protecting ourselves. We're the authority on reading, history, finances, investing, entertainment, politics, sports. But when it comes down to defending yourselves, we're silent. We don't even think about defending ourselves, man.
You know, it brings me to, when you bring up sports, it brings me to, I used to be a big, huge
Football fan.
basketball fan.
I used to be a huge football fan.
Huge. Like major basketball fan. I knew a bunch of players in the NBA at one time. So what had went on in the last year or so was the John Morant thing.
Okay.
Where he
Yes.
had the gun, right? So a lot of people showed a video where Chris Kaman, another basketball player, he was at a range with some AKs taking pictures. So a lot of
Mhm.
the people was like, "What's the difference? Oh, this is different. He's being treated different than Chris Kaman was being treated. Chris Kaman, they ain't say nothing about it."
Right.
So most people went down the racial angle, but we got to understand it's not really racial angle. Not when it comes to that.
Right.
It's about gun safety. It's a gun safety issue with a racial element. John Morant had a handgun in a public place, as they as the video will say, playing with it. Even if he would have been with an AK-47 at a range and they would have caught him shooting with it, it would have been, the perception would have been different, and it would have
Right.
been handled different because he was been in a controlled environment.
Right.
So I think that's of utter importance that we need to really understand and advocate gun safety. I know it's a lot of clubs that I've seen on Facebook popping up of a lot of black people with guns. I know it's an all female club, and you know, them sisters be out there doing their thing.
He gets it in.
So I really think that the need for it, if you feel like you're in those type of environments where you definitely have to arm yourself to protect yourself and your family, do it.
I tell people that the Second Amendment is not a suggestion; it's a right. A well-regulated militia. I break it down. Say a militia only means that you're not part of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines. You're not Coast Guard. You're not National Guard. You're not a part of no type of the government. You are just a citizen. A citizen. That's a well-regulated militia being necessary to secure the free state. All you're doing is saying, I'm a citizen and I'm exercising my right to bear arms.
And if anybody's sitting behind a keyboard or on
Mhm.
their phone in a big city that's super liberal
Mhm.
and that's anti-gun,
Mhm.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just gonna tell you, the people in the urban areas ain't letting you take their Second Amendment, and they ain't letting you take their guns.
Those that know.
It's not gonna happen. Um, the minute that you try to come for that Second Amendment, it's gonna be a problem because at the end of the day, it's your human right. It's your
Mm.
human right. It's not just a legal right. It's a human right.
Self-preservation.
And you get a lot of people be like, well, when they wrote the Constitution, it wasn't for us, or when they wrote the Constitution, it was they had musketeers.
Okay.
They had foresight on something about weapons and arming themselves and guns. So it's there and it's not going nowhere. And I'm a big advocate of every household, wherever you are, should have weapons.
You sound like Ida B. Wells.
Hmm?
You sound like Ida B. Wells.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and that's the crazy thing about it. She knew.
And she was a woman.
Yeah, she knew.
I need my sisters. I need every brother who, under the sound of my voice, to just take a just pull up Ida B. Wells and Wikipedia. Just do a Wikipedia search and just read through the bio. You may come away with a better appreciation for her work.
I think they get the palatable version, and no disrespect to her or her legacy, they might get the Chicago version instead
Mm,
of the Tennessee version.
mm, okay.
And how she basically got ran out of there. But we need to understand that. Let's just say one, like you brought her up. If you want to study or you want to follow one of our ancestors, they say, just take one.
Mm-hmm. Just one.
And model your life or model your thought like that one. I'm not saying who it could be. It could be Carter G. Woodson. It could be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And why they thought the way they thought during those times and how they moved and how they persevered under situations that may be worse than we're all living in today.
Right.
And how they viewed the world and how they viewed their everyday struggle. And I think that if we can do that, instead of having such a broad, like you said, we become masters of so much stuff that we don't focus on one thing. If we take that approach, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Again, family, you are listening to Brother Quentin from Let's Talk To. Let's Talk To. Brother, you want to put your stuff on your screen and how they can reach you, contact you, make a donation?
Just you can find me on Let's Talk To on YouTube. That's one of my other channels. I actually have two channels, but Let's Talk To is where you'll get a lot of my personal views on.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to do is, really advocate to understand that we need to all like, share, subscribe this channel as well, and follow each other and support each other, support each other's projects. It's no reason that in this social media era that we shouldn't have a network of people of explaining what's going on. Because like I said, you guys, I don't know DC. Something happened in DC. I may could sit on my computer and give a thought about what I see on the media.
Right.
But there is nothing like boots on the ground.
Facts.
One of the young brothers who inspired a lot of the stuff that I do now, King Darren Seals.
Yes, rest in peace, Darren Seals.
Darren Seals. During Ferguson, when Ferguson first happened, I had the opportunity. I wasn't able to go, so a lot of our good people and people were on the ground and seeing what happened with Mike Brown.
Yes.
And Darren Seals was very, very in the limelight during that time.
Yes.
And he said what he felt about BLM. And then later Darren Seals was killed, murdered. Not only him, but a few others. And he exposed and told us, because you know why? He was on ground zero.
Boots on the ground.
He was there. He was able to see the outside forces come in, change the narrative around from the injustice that the suburbs of St. Louis still go through today in Ferguson, away from Mike Brown. And he was able to say that organization, that saying Black Lives Matters, the organization, the slogan is right, but the organization ain't right.
Right.
And they're being funded by some other forces that's really anti-Black family, anti-Black community. So I say that when you have boots on the ground, when you have the opportunity to be a voice for your area first, this is why we all need to work together and being able to, what's going on? I just seen your area on the news. Like I sometimes call North Jersey, I call back home and I'll be like, you good? What happened? I see. And I'll be telling people stuff that I seen that they didn't even see yet. Because they might live on a certain, like you said, how DC is, they might live on a certain part of town. So there's no reason why in this social media era, this era, the age of information, that we can't be better coordinated or being able to work together and being able to explain news, history, gun safety, health, finance, you have a bunch of people, and I love all the brothers who are not robbing the community, but
Right,
really trying to educate the community on finance.
right.
But you have a bunch of people who will follow a finance page and knowing that for the most of us, we're living paycheck to paycheck. You can't even invest that type of money. So really
Mm,
that type of information is not it's needed, but it's not needed for you at this time. And we'll spend all our energy on that instead of saying, yo, I need to learn how to fight. Some people don't even know how to fight. Like, can you keep, for lack of better words, can you keep somebody from harming you in 3 minutes or less? That's a round. Most of us would be out of breath. 3 minutes. You should
and
be
look,
able to at least put a move on somebody to protect yourself. So this is very important, and I hope that anybody that watches or is watching, I hope we take it more serious and be like, you know what? I don't know how to fight. Let me go to the gym. Let me start working out. Let me start being in shape, the best shape I could possibly be. You may not have health insurance, you may not can't do nothing, but the only thing that you could do is be where your feet is at.
right.
You can't be ahead of yourself. You can't be behind yourself. You only can be where your feet is at. Be where your feet is at.
Look,
That's it.
it's 24 hours in a day, right? And I say to people, try to find 15 minutes. Can you find 15 minutes in your day to work on yourself? If that means running, exercising, walking, doing some weights, just 15 minutes. I mean, just 15 minutes. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes in the morning, maybe 5 minutes in the afternoon, five in the evening. But give 15 minutes towards you, because there's only one you.
Yeah.
Out of 24 hours, you got to find 15 minutes. And normally I say 20 minutes, but 15, try to find 15 minutes for yourself. To what? Workout. To what? Uh, some type of self-defense, being a better version of yourself. Because 3 minutes when you're fighting, whoo, that's like lifetime.
Listen,
Especially you don't have no help coming.
man, I used to see guys wrestle when I was in school, and I'm telling y'all, I don't know how many fights y'all had in y'all lives,
Mhm.
but you get in a fight with somebody that really know how to squabble. Like, we ain't talking about boxing. We talking about somebody that wants to win, or
Yeah.
at least wants to put you in a position where you tapping out.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
joker, I had an experience, right? It wasn't me, right? You guys, I keep it a buck.
Right.
Um, I saw somebody big dude, bigger than me, right? He was like 6'3", right? In shape, but he ain't had no win.
Mm.
And the Vietnamese boy jumped on him.
Mm.
He was leaking. The big dude was leaking.
Wow.
And everybody's like, yo, what happened? And they was like, yo, Ty jumped on him.
Wow.
Ty put some sport on him because Ty knew how to win. Ty knew how to survive. Ty knew how to maneuver the big dude's weight against him. So
Mhm.
we need to understand, you know, like the brother said, who we are, where we are, and taking advantage of those 24 hours in a day.
And I'm gonna add to this. Watch this. Family, if you're listening to me, we're in the era of war. I mean, we're at war. We are funding two wars. There will if we pull back the resources from Ukraine, it'll be over in a week or less. If we don't help Israel, they're done in about 4 or 5 days. If the Muslim countries decide, if Turkey and the others get involved. So just because, well, it's on our shores, because again, I've seen the soldiers coming through our borders. Okay. I'm training them to know uh, these are not people seeking asylum. This is a military. There's a literal military coming through our borders. I'm not saying women and children. I'm saying men, males who are waiting for the call or for the assignment. And they got their arms and they're just waiting. There's a Trojan horse just came through our borders. Okay? And that's for me. You ain't got to tell me but one time. Show me one time that, okay, I need to do what? Protect myself, protect my family, my friends, my community, my city, the county, and maybe even the nation. Because when this thing hit, they're not going to ask you about your pro-black status or your religious status. And they're going to ask you if you're Christian or you're Muslim or you're Jewish. They're going to see you as a threat and take you out. That's what I see.
And as one of the brothers said, and I'm gonna use his phrase, anybody could be weaponized.
You dang all right.
At any given moment, somebody could be weaponized and basically put in play. As they like to use the words, oh, who's a cell? Oh, you could be a cell. So you got to understand what's going on. And I'm glad you brought up that about the immigration and watching who's literally coming through our borders and understand that these are troops, these are soldiers ready to get their orders, and you know, and in war times, what happens? Everything's gained.
Yes. Watch this. There's no friends permanent. There's no permanent family. It's about interest in wartime. And as Harriet Tubman allegedly, they say, if you was on that Underground Railroad and you had a change of heart, you want to change your mind, she couldn't let one person sacrifice the whole underground. The shotgun wasn't cured for no animals. Just in case you change your mind, I'm gonna leave you in the swamp. Or maybe a little graves room, you bleed out. I'm just saying. But I really want our people or those who are listening to this broadcast to become responsible gun owners and gun users, because we're in different times. And again, I need you to reactivate your self-preservation switch, because again, it's dangerous out here. And I don't want to scare nobody. I just want you to be aware that it's dangerous out here in these streets, not just on the ones that's coming through the border, not just on the possibility of war, but it's dangerous sometimes even in our community, depending on where you live.
Just look at this. How many people live in areas where literally it's a lockdown at a school every day?
Mm-hmm.
Do people understand that some places in this country, it's a lockdown at least every day in some school districts? And some of the schools, districts, they're not even having school on Fridays no more because of certain situations that's going on. So it's very, very important, like the brother said, and like I was always taught, right? If you have a pair of jeans on, a pair of jeans got 4 pockets. One is for the state, one is for the county, one is for the federal, and one is for local. That's the government. They taking taxes from you. You're a taxpaying citizen, whether you got a job or not. You pay tax on a beverage or whatever when you purchase anything, even if you want to say you off the grid. When you go purchase something, you're paying taxes. So understanding those local laws, understanding where you're at and how to move, and understanding what's going on. I mean, you could pull up an app on your phone and literally find out who's living around you.
Yes.
And if you can't protect your family, you're not a man.
Look here, most people define a man as a protector and a provider. I take it a step further. You protect, you provide, and you give instructions. Because watch this, and you protect the culture. I'm a Christian, or I'm a follower of the revolutionary Jesus, okay? And so when I look at the instructions that was given to Abraham. The scripture says, do I hide what I'm going to do for him, seeing that he's going to give instructions and protect his family? Not just protect and provide. We give instructions. Now, you may not want to listen to us, but the scripture says he gives instructions to his children, to his family. What we're doing right now, we're talking about protect, providing, but we're also giving instructions, because we leave that out the equation. No, I give instructions along with protecting you and provide for you. If you can't listen to me, then I don't know if I can protect you any other way. But I'm gonna still give the instructions. Is at your disposal?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had to throw that in because I hear that all the time. Men, what's the role of a man? He protects, he provides. One more or two more. What's the other two? He gives instructions and he protects the culture. One thing I say about America, white America, let me know. They protect, they provide, and they will tell you what to do, and they're gonna protect their culture.
Just look at it like this, right? we lost somebody that was what we consider great in black cinema last week. Where are our shafts?
We are the new voices, because the ones who are older are about to become ancestors. And I've accepted my role as an elder. Okay. Look at John Henry Clark said this: a people who don't put no respect on their ancestors, their offspring won't respect them. We're living in the age of the disrespect towards the elders because we haven't put the respect on the ancestors. Why, as a young person, would I respect you when you ain't told me nothing about the accomplishments of the ancestors? Kind of hard to respect you when I don't know about my history. But what we did was we surrendered the history to we surrendered our culture to the historians.
It's like, you know how in war, right? In war, you get the booty. It's like we started chasing the booty. It's forgot, like, oh shit, we still at war. Like, we got another battle to fight. We done left this part of the battle. We got another battle to fight. And like I said, I believe that if you look at it critically, a lot of it happened with that great migration up north. People ran and thought, oh yeah, I'm going up there with them liberal white folks and the opportunity. Man, you start reading, and and I'm gonna refer to our historian brothers, Dr. Winters, Dr. Short, and the rest of the brothers that study history. It wasn't what it seemed to be.
Right.
A lot of us got fooled into and fallen into traps. So the premise of this great conversation with you was to really talk about gun advocacy and gun safety and understanding your human right under the Second Amendment. And like I said, don't attach guns with crime. People commit crime with guns, but guns, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're committing a crime.
I'm watch this. We're gonna bring it in, but I'm gonna go a step further back. I'm always teaching and trying to enlighten the folks who would watch Lone Wolf Farms training that I'm unapologetic about the scriptures. And so I'll go back to Genesis 1:26 when God said, I give you dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle and all the creepers. And you're supposed to subdue, bring it under you. Okay. And he blessed him. So when I'm thinking, hey, whoa, I'm supposed to rule everything around me. I'm supposed to protect everything around me. And if you're talking about do something, that means that bring it under your control. So if it wasn't no Second Amendment for me, I'm on that self-preservation piece hard. Like you can't talk me off this, because I know that those who conquered the world, they used that scripture, 126 Genesis or 128, rule, have dominion, multiply, replenish, and they take that and they form their manifest destinies from that.
And that's a true definition of an alpha male.
Yeah.
That's a true definition of alpha male. Now we can get into that. I don't want to get into that today because that's a whole other discussion of what a lot of our brothers love to say that they're, I'm an alpha, I'm a beta. Be careful. Be careful.
Watch this. One of the reasons why I did the firearms piece, because I was telling people all the time, get your guns, protect yourself. Get your guns, protect yourselves. And then the thought came to me, or the God within me said, I need you to be the thing you want to see. What?
Yeah.
Be what you want to see. What does it mean? I need you to become a firearms instructor. Now, a police officer ain't no firearms instructor because I go to a firearms instructor to learn how to shoot. No, I need you to be the thing that you want to see. So I became a firearms instructor and began to teach the folks and said, you know what, screaming, you need to defend yourself, protect yourself. Nah, I said, okay. So I went through the NRA, went through 3 levels. They don't just give it to you. And when I showed up, they were like, you can see that, what you doing here?
Because even some of them historically don't know the relationship that they have with the Deacons of Defense and just black people in general. It saddens me to see the relationship that black folk have with the NRA now, and how we've taken the white liberal agenda has used us to position us as the enemy to the NRA, and the NRA is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The NRA is not the problem. The problem is some other forces that we'll probably discuss on our other shows, but that's not the problem at all. It's thousands of gun organizations and gun clubs, and just like people got to I don't agree with everything, but just like people have all types of clubs and motorcycle clubs and all that, don't blame the NRA for the crime. The crime is on the individual or the forces that are in play, but it's not the gun, it's not the NRA. And I'm not an NRA member, you guys, at all. But I know history, and I know their relationship with, and how their relationship with black people is, and how it should be.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do another program, and you can ask me whatever, because I am probably an anomaly. Black, locks, policing, NRA, independent, love God, and we'll train you to stop the threat.
Love country too.
And love country.
You got to put that in there, because I don't think people understand like why most of us. And you said enough about yourself where I kind of know exactly where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things going on, some forces going on that we need to understand that, if you want to, like I said, you want to tout FBA, be FBA.
Facts. Facts. And that's why I don't get I'm not even, because I got bigger aspirations in this. You are not going to know me as a firearms guy. This is a season. It's a season that I know that warn these people, get them ready, because I got bigger aspirations. I don't have to be the biggest YouTuber, because I don't know but one YouTuber that's real big is a billionaire, and it's Elon
Mr. Beast.
Oh yeah, Mr. Beast. But his content, I do his content. I do his content. I love
amazing, right?
Man, Mr. Beast is truly amazing. And if I could take a pause from being so serious and just enjoy the Mr. Beast product. Because even in that culture, you got to have a Mr. Beast to bring you keep yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't always be amped. That's why I travel. I go out because I know that you've got to take care of your body. You got to take time out for yourself. So you'll see me traveling on yachts. You see me eating at the best places, going sleeping at the best places because I'm actually trying to normalize this whole gun piece. Show you a whole new way of doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? It should be a dessert. It should be an entree. It should be entree, not an appetizer. It should be something to talk about every day.
Man, I when I first moved up here, man, I told these guys, I live in Northeast Pennsylvania, right?
Mm-hmm.
I told these guys I knew how to cut. I said I know how to. I don't know how to skin, but I can cut from a half to a third to a quarter.
Okay.
So these guys was, we'll pay you to do this. That. So I don't want your money, man. I don't really mess with. I know how to do deer. I know how to do, animals can bear and stuff like that. I said I would know what to do, but I'm not doing it for you. I'm not, and so I say that to say that sometimes when you remember being quote unquote out in nature and understanding, you got to know how to fish. You got to know how to do certain things to survive. It's a brother I follow. I can't even remember his name, man. But for you guys that's into TikTok, man, it's a FBA brother. He literally does stuff in the woods, and it's like he'll go out there, he'll start his own fire. He do fishing when he out there, and for those of us that may have went through that Boy Scout thing, and I didn't go through that, but you learn those skills that a lot of people don't even know how to, do certain things now, and firearm safety and understanding how to handle yourself with a firearm was essential back then.
Well, these days, because of YouTube, you can pull up anything right now with no excuses.
Yeah.
It's like with firearms piece. If you really having challenges with your gun, it's thousands of credible YouTube videos about your gun, your specific gun. We don't have no more excuses. We're in the information age. America will be considered the information highway of the world.
Yeah.
Everybody send their children here because it's not censored. And we here have no excuses.
If you're smart and you know how to get your own VPN, you could really get into that dark web. Let me be quiet now.
Look here. If and when they come for me, they will not find nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
But my satellite phone. Well, look here, man. Let's bring this thing to a close. We can talk all night, but look here. I enjoyed the conversation. Enjoyed it richly. I hope you enjoyed it richly. I hope the viewers. I need you guys to what? Go to Let's Talk 2. I need you to subscribe to the channels. I need you to like it or even unlike it. Okay. And I need you to support the channel. Because again, the algorithms are what they are. Whether you like or unlike, just do it. Matter of fact, it don't cost you nothing to like. Whatever platform you're on, it don't cost you nothing to dislike it. It don't cost you nothing to share the video. Stop being selfish. Share the video. Stop being selfish. Our problem is we're just too selfish. Share the video, share, unlike, and subscribe to whatever platform you want. That's all we ask.
Yeah, very, very, very important. And I know that a lot of times, we love to tout support.
Yes.
The best way to support you guys is literally to like, share, subscribe. Yeah. That's the best way. Even if you financially don't have it to cash up anybody that's on YouTube doing that thing, just staying takes a lot of time, effort, and resources. And what they're doing is trying to be a voice for those
Mhm.
of us that can't do this. Like the brother said, we need to be able to have different voices in different fields that's trying to, as we love to say, push the
Mhm.
culture forward. And gun advocacy, gun safety is very important to me, as well as the brother. And we need to understand that, we need to get the word out and understand that, why it's important and what's going on, and being able to not just rely on your ring camera and say, because your ring cameras and the cameras you got on your house, they go
Mhm.
off when the wind blow.
Mhm.
What's going to happen when it's literally a threat? And and I'm quite sure, and me and the brother going to do another show soon, very soon, because when you do have situations, you need to be able to say the right things if you have protected yourself, your home, and your family.
Right.
Because, as they say, the next word that comes out of your mouth, if law
You,
enforcement comes to your home, is vital.
yes. Yes. I tell folks all the time, I'm gonna teach you the right way, right? But you do what you can articulate. Do what you can articulate. Because I'm gonna say the right way. I'm gonna tell you what to say, what not to say too, when they come for you. We
Because it's a
don't.
lot. It's a lot that I wasn't able to talk to Juan about, but
Mhm.
it's a reason why why gun training and why they're trained to shoot center mass. And
Yes.
so we'll discuss that, you guys. We're definitely gonna do some stuff in the future. And
Yes.
I
We
know
go.
that a lot of people be like, "Oh, you could have shot him in the leg."
No.
No one's trained to shoot you in the leg.
No. No leg shots. No leg shots. Matter of fact, it takes a little more. It takes a little more skill to do a leg shot. One of the rules for safety is know your target and what's beyond your target. Because you can have your target in mind and you miss. And most targets are moving. But that bullet is gone. It's gonna hit something.
So
And
yeah,
you
so we're gonna do some stuff and be able to talk about that, as well as, like I said, if you have a situation and you have to protect yourself,
mm,
there's a reason. It's not always color
yes.
or race that gets people out of situations. Most of us don't know how to. And then,
Facts.
even if you do want to talk, you have to be able to. Did you
Shut it down.
neutralize the threat? Not, oh, somebody came in my house and I protected myself. Was it a threat though?
You know,
And
and,
you
and
even have some law enforcement, and the brother will tell you guys, you have some law enforcement that'll try to coach you to say the proper words.
the it's two types of intent in the law. It's general intent and the specific intent, right? And one is worse than the one is has a heavier price than the other one. When it's specific, that means it was intentional. If it's general, that's open for interpretation. Somebody come to your house and they get the wrong house. Thinking in the right house and you bust them. What was their intent? You said, "Well, what you mean? They're in my house?" But what was their intent?
The
See,
intent might have been to come and get a sandwich. The intent probably wasn't to harm you. So that's why, like the brother said, we definitely gonna do a part two and definitely gonna explain and get into it a little bit more depth, because this is the field that Juan is in. Um, we just definitely wanted to have this conversation and you know give a brief history of what we both do. And
yes, yes. I tell you, look, y'all don't understand this. This is a generic conversation. We didn't even plan this. This is us having a conversation. Y'all are right now in our living room talking because what he's saying to me, what I'm saying to him, is literally like, okay, that's what's up. We had like a brief intro. We just go, let it be generic. Just let it just form, and this is what y'all got. Again, A lot of folks we can't see them, but I got GB Jabba 809 is in the house. Nicole B's in the house. Claude Noble's in the house. What? Claude Nicole B. You got your, your Nia Wilkins in the house. GT Thomas. I can't see everybody, but we just thank those of y'all who tuned in. You could be somewhere else, but you're here. We appreciate it. We do, and looking forward to the next conversation with my brother. And again, thank you. Hopefully that you got something from this broadcast, and we look forward to doing it again. Do you have any last words that you want to share with the people?
If you could legally have guns in this country, arm yourself, please. Protect your home.
You heard it first from Brother Quentin, and I've been saying that if you can do it, get it. It's not a suggestion. It's the right for the people. Get you a gun, shotgun, rifle, handgun, revolver, semi-automatic. Get it. Get it. This is no joke, family. I need you to get it. Whether you come through me or somebody else, get you a trainer, get you an instructor, but get you a firearm. You're going to need it. And I mean that. More sooner than later. Brother Quentin, I appreciate you. Go to Let's Talk 2. And now, what days do Let's Talk 2 come on?
Right now, I don't have a set schedule when I do stuff. I'm trying to figure out what really people like. I know a lot of people love Dr. Short and come for Dr. Short, which I appreciate. And Dr. Short is always welcome to come on any show that I do. Anything that I do, Dr. Short has an open invitation. I don't ever get enough of Dr. Short. He's been very, very instrumental to me. Most people don't realize, they think I just started doing shows with Dr. Short. Dr. Short did a show on my first channel about two and a half years ago.
Okay.
So Dr. Short and myself have had a very, very good relationship the last 3 years. Always giving me information. Always, Dr. Short. For lack of better words, me and Dr. Short would probably have a good old time if we met up at a library. Because I'm a reader. I'm a person that has a lot of books. I'm into reading, and I know that's what he does. So I'm trying to figure out a set schedule on doing certain things, some stuff that I want to do. I really want to be able to not always talk about issues in like a reactive way, and more of this is what we're doing. We organizing, we being focused on moving forward, because everything has a place, like you said. And having people understand, like, yo, you got to be in good health. You got to be in tip-top shape. You got to understand where you're at, and understanding, like, yo, you might be a check away from being on a bread line. Most of us never saw a bread line.
Right.
Most of us that don't even remember the gas shortage in the 70s. And if we do, we remember it faintly. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a reality. Because right before we won the broadcast, and the brother brought it up, Yemen has declared war on Israel. Now, Yemen is not a big country and don't have a big army, but they declared war on Israel. And we need to understand how that affects us, and does it affect us? So I say that it can affect us in more ways than one, not directly, but indirectly. So it's important that we understand and prepare ourselves to know how to navigate through what we call just everyday life.
And on that note, again, I need you to follow, like, share, subscribe to Let's Talk 2, Brother Quentin, and we will pick this back up. I got a dynamite brother gonna come on and talk about this Israel piece with me, but we can pick it up too, because again, that's like a little pebble tossed into a pond with ripple effects.
Yeah. Just pay attention to what's going on and what's being. I don't want people give that too much attention, for lack of better words. What I do want to say about what's going on, be cognizant of what's being said and the wording being used. It's very, very important that we understand language and how it's being used and what's being said directly. And you aligning yourself with a faction of their war and how you align yourself with something and the blowback from it. Be very careful.
I've gone on record and I've told the folks who listen to me, I'm neutral on this one. I'm neutral.
It's above my pay grade.
You're neutral too. Because, I mean, now here it is. I'm guilty by association because I'm in the country that's supporting it. But me personally, look at it. I'm sitting back. I'm watching this. See, this is a whole different conversation. We're going to come back on this one very soon.
Definitely.
Very soon, because this is this one again. My thing with that is they always come to us to pick a side, but they ignore us when we getting the business done to us. Okay, so yeah. So again, I want to thank you, my brother, for coming on. I appreciate it. All those who's tuned in, again, like the video, unlike the video, dislike the video, okay? Subscribe to the channels and support. Again, this is like the new media. A lot of your legacy networks and even some of your black networks, they ain't talking like this. They're just not. So count yourself lucky to have some guys and some sisters out here, brothers and sisters who are sincere about us making a difference and having some guns and unapologetic. Okay. With that said, my brother, you have a great day. I'm signing off in about 2 more minutes. And again, man, again, go to Let's Talk 2, and I will talk to you and see you soon, my brother. I promise you that.
All right. Peace out, family. All right.
There you have it, brother Quentin from Let's Talk 2. Let's Talk 2. Go to his station, family. Please subscribe. I see there's a question on what is your social media info, Lone Wolf. It is Lone Wolf Firearms Training. If you see that wolf right here on YouTube, that wolf right here, that's the station. It's going to be a picture of a wolf inside of a target. Go to Lone Wolf Firearms Training. That is the station that you will see me on. And matter of fact, we're broadcasting on YouTube, on Social X, which is the old Twitter. We're on multiple platforms on Facebook right now. So, but if you see that wolf in the target, that's the station. And that's where we're broadcasting from right now. With that said, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Great show, great brother. And I thank you, Dr. Short, for making the connection. Again, a lot of stuff would not be so if Dr. Short was not involved in it. We appreciate him for what he does. And again, family, and we appreciate you. As I end this broadcast all the time, always remember this, family. It is not how much you know, it's how much you care. A lot of folks know a lot of stuff, but they don't care. And always remember this. There is a lone wolf in you.